everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be back. I woke up so early, I couldn't wait to hop on the camera and talk. That is what I do apparently for a living as well. Okay, so welcome. I'd like to get into two things today. Number one is for people out there that absolutely think law of assumption is BS, I am going to give it to you today. No, I am not convincing nobody. That is not my work, my responsibility, or what I'm interested to do, period. That's just not what I'm here for. I'm not convincing nobody. I am just speaking my truth. I'm speaking about what actually works for me because I put this law to test. I put law of attraction to test. I put law of assumption to test. I put law of karma and other laws to test, and it works for me. So I am here to say it absolutely works, right? Second thing I'd like to talk about is my daily routine, that how I actually get into wishful field state and live there. You're going to live there and you're going to learn my routine with me today. Okay, so how was you guys' Christmas? I don't personally celebrate Christmas. Christmas, actually, there's so much more to it. And Jesus' birthday, his birthday was not even 25th. I believe it's 6th of January, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. So if you'd like to go deep to the backstory about Christmas, and what is really Christ is not a religion. Again, let's talk about law of assumption. For people that are saying it's completely BS, I am going to quote unquote sell it to you, but there is one thing I'd like to say up front is mind is such a hard thing to change. That is why I admire every single human being that is not only willing to change, but actually make changes and work toward making changes, because mind is such a hard thing to change. Mind, the ego mind, the identified self, the hard ego, which is the false self. One of the things the false self loves to do is to put things and people into categories, because if you are set, then the ego self, if the ego self thinks you're a certain way, and the ego self, the false self, feels they're safe. So they don't have to make changes because they need to die to this version of you, this version of SP, this version of your boss, your mom, your dad, your siblings, to die from the version of a certain person needs courage, needs open mind, needs the willingness to put the laws to test. No, I don't have to believe you. I don't have to trust you. I don't have to have any faith. I just need to be logical all I want, but put you to test. If you can find yourself at this place as a start, I'm telling you, this is a good place to start. It doesn't matter, you can hold your doubting state, you can hold your doubtful and doubting, they're completely two things. Doubting is like, oh, I'm willing to find answers. Doubtful is like, no, this is not for me. No, it's like the mind doesn't want to change. And I mentioned it before. It's such a habit. It's trained to be, I don't accept changes, right? If I perceive you in another way. If from my point of view, I changed my point of view, I dumped my previous point of view, then what does that mean? That means the false self needed to like give away like pieces of false self. That means they are exposing, the false self are exposing themselves, and that is ego mind, the hurt ego doesn't want to do. They would die to avoid doing that. So that is why people are so in so much hatred toward Neville even, although this video is completely not about that. So up until this point, you have successfully manifested a few versions of SP that it doesn't matter if it was your desired outcome, desired version or undesired version, you are successful up until this point at manifesting this SP into this version. Why? Because you were living in your wish fulfilled state. They're a jerk. They are some woman that loves to go with other men but me. They are not keeping their promise. When it comes to me, they always put me last. The assumptions you made around this person, the party side of them, the version of them that wants to give you the whole world side, you withdrew from that side. You assume that no, that version is not going to show up in my life. Other than the nasty versions, I'm going to get the nasty versions. That's the only version I am going to get. The assumptions you made, and those assumptions, they are all a state of being. They help you to feel into this state of being is you don't deserve, you don't worth a dime in their life. That successfully helped you, trained you, helped you practice in this state, and you dwelled in this state for a period of time that further reinforced this version of SP showing up in your life in an undesired way. So are you wish fulfilled? Yes, you're wish fulfilled because that's exactly what you did. So if you go back and you backtrack, what was your state of being? What thoughts? What feeling state? How did you feel? Did you feel you are absolutely worthy of this man, this woman's attention, time, energy, focus, adoration? And that's what dragged you up to this point, that you are on my channel and watching other coaches' channel, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. This is like so resourceful. I love YouTube. So resourceful. We got help out here. People like me, right? And our quote unquote vibrations are very high because we're giving almost every single day in our life. We're just giving. And equally, we have this high value returned back to us as we charge for our services. So this energy exchange is divine. It's absolutely on point. Whereas some coaches, they charge, I'm not judging, but some coaches, they charge way lower, is because they have a lack mindset. And again, mind is something really hard to change. That is why you have people manifesting SP for 5+ years, 10+ years, and still the same version, while they're claiming it's not working. However, it's working all the time. Why? Look at the version. If it's not working and everything is supposed to be neutral, right? Every version of SP is supposed to be neutral. Actually, everything is neutral in this, energetically speaking, but that is for another video. Okay, I'm not here to confuse you about this. Since you have manifested different version of SP, and those versions are not desired versions, so you know that the assumptions you made regarding this person, regarding yourself, regarding the relationship in between you and them. So you could backtrack what happened there and make major changes for yourself. So you can assume better. You can have a better, you need to train yourself to have a better self-concept. Why? Because another self-concept of you, another version of you, they experience the reality, they experience the version of SP completely different. It's completely different from how you have been experiencing SP as the previous current, ongoing this version of self-concept. If you choose not to change your mind, you choose not to change the way you perceive yourself, you perceive this person, and you perceive you having an amazing relationship. If you have so much judgments and you are criticizing yourself, you're criticizing SP, you are criticizing the relationship between you and him in a very negative way, that means you're perpetuating the pattern of yourself again, SP, and the relationship between you guys. That is why it's so important to change how you feel, how you feel inside. So this is the absolute ultimate shortcut in your life, is to tap into your wish fulfilled state, to literally drag this version out of the infinite possible realities, parallel realities, and to claim this version of SP, of yourself, of the relationship in between you two, and dwell there, practice living there. And that version of reality, that parallel reality, is going to be brought about into your physical reality as 3D. That is actually how it works. And again, I put it to test in my whole life. Actually. I started assuming when I was really little. And my PE teacher would actually come to me, knock on the door while we were self-studying. Everybody was quiet. My name was called out because he was wondering if we could have so what happened was, I actually just made the best assumption, right? And I really believed in that assumption. We were having this competition, and I was one of the members of the long rope. What do you guys call it? It's a competition. You have like 10 people and 2 person doing this, and then it's like you're jumping through the long rope, right? And I predicted it while we were actually competing in our whole town. Like, I come from a big city, and it's like a whole town we were competing. And right after this competition, we would be able to get to the highest competition, the biggest competition, which is the whole city wide. So I assumed the best. I predicted us to be number 2 in this thing. I just felt like 2 came to me. So I said, we would be number 2. And ended up we were number 2 in the whole town, like town-wide. And then later on we went to the city-wide competition. So right before that, the day before that, he knocked on the door to our classroom and dragged me out of the class and go like, what is your prediction? I was in shock, but I wasn't really in shock like that, because that is just how I do. It's like I just make assumptions, right? And I actually believe in my own assumptions. I was probably 12 years old. I'm positive I was 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. I said we would definitely get to be the first, for sure. He was so happy. He went, and the next day we took the first place. And I remember I was number 4 Yes, I was number 4 jumping the rope. So we were training hard. It was such a fun time, and I've been just very active my whole life. Anyway, so you make the assumption. You made the assumption. That is what is happening based on your assumption, based on how you perceive yourself, how you perceive SP, how you perceive you guys' relationship. So if you keep on dragging the version, telling the story, this is not working, the laws are not working, SP is but a jerk, they're just some crazy woman, they don't want to commit, this and that. These are all the assumptions. And I'm sorry to break it to you. You're robbing yourself from the perfect version of a person that you would want to have an amazing relationship with. You're robbing yourself from their party side, from their attentive, adoring, supportive, loving, passionate, compassionate side, and all those positive traits about them. You're robbing yourself. You're not robbing anybody else, you're robbing yourself. And actually, I'm going to talk about dual manifestation I'm going to talk about, are you manifesting SP or SP is manifesting you? How do you actually know that? I'm going to talk about it because I think it's such a fun topic to talk about. Okay, so the assumptions you made around SP so far is, this is a pattern. If you have been manifesting the person hot and cold, let's just say hot and cold, because it's very distinctive pattern. You know that you assume better and then you assume worse. You assume better and you assume worse. So you know yourself, you feel good, you feel like there's a possibility, and then you fall back to the possibility of they are not committing to you, of this is not going to work out. So you need to track yourself, right? You need to write down the thoughts you've been having around this person, around yourself. Do you feel you're attractive? Do you feel you actually deserve somebody you actually love and love you back? Somebody you actually care about and cares about you back. Do you feel this way about yourself? And if you don't, there's things needed to be changed. There is this state of being where everything you want is happening in your inner world. You need to make friends with this inner world, inner version. You need to get really familiar and really comfortable in your inner world. With this version of SP, and you feel so good in this amazing relationship here. This is called conscious manifesting. So in this inner world, everything you assume is around as a person who has her wish fulfilled already. Not later, but already. How would I feel if I was in this amazing relationship right now? I would feel adored, I would feel loved, I would feel cherished, supported, focused on. I would feel I love my partner and my partner loves me back. And the whole world loves us to be together. They feel like we are the best couple. We look so good together. You are going to have these conversations in a talk running inside of you. I'm actually transitioning into what I'm talking about. Secondly, in this video is my routine when it comes to conscious manifesting. You're going to cultivate this state of being and just be shutting out your mind, be shutting out your judgment and criticism around anything about SP, about yourself, about the relationship, about your love life in general. You need to shut everything out and be like, this is my reality in my inner world, and I am sticking with it. So I be coming into this state of being and feeling into the wish fulfilled, right? If I was to have an amazing career, I was to have a certain amount money coming into my life, or I was to manifest anything, any given time in my life, I would be coming into this wish-filled state and truly practicing living here. Not dipping in, dipping out, but living. And at the beginning, it could be dipping in and dipping out, and that's completely fine because you're just getting used to how to actually do this. So be gentle, be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself when you fall out of the state. It's okay, you can come right back. That's why you can never mess up any manifestations. It's just not possible for you to mess up any manifestations. You just come back to your center. You know this is who you are claiming to be, is we're together. I am loved. I am cherished. I am adored. He wants me. She wants me. We're together. I am finally someone's wife. We are happily married. I am finally someone's husband. We are happily together. Life to us is such a blessing. It's so generous to us. Life treats us so well all the time. What would we be doing daily? We would go for groceries, we would go to eat, we would go grab coffee, we would go to visit each other's families, we would go shopping together, we would go just sit by the beach, on the couch, wherever in a parking lot, and just have a conversation. What he would say, she would say, what I would say back. And sometimes we don't say anything. We're just enjoying the silence, enjoying the company. We're just holding hands. We hold hands. We don't say anything. We just gaze into each other's eyes. You are going to play this role as a happy wife, happy husband, as a blessed girlfriend, boyfriend. Feel into it, right? Give yourself the permission. Feel into it. How would I feel? Yes, this is how I feel. Yes, this is what he's saying, she's saying. Right? Guide yourself here. Again and again, find relief, find comfort. Now, when the mind jumps in, that's all this goes into trash. Because mind would go, no, but that is not what's happening in 3D. Who cares? 3D is old news. 3D is your previous manifestation. However, if you keep on dwelling in 3D, then this is not happening for you. And the single, not single because you're in different state, but how come this different state feels so similar? Because you feel similar. You feel you are literally trapped in this state of being. Is we're not together as P is this and that, and they moved, and save some time. Come back to your inner center, come back here and spend more time here. Spend your energy and focus and dedication here. So that 3D is literally fading into the background. You don't talk about 3D, think about 3D, care about 3D, because you moved your focus here. And be intentional not to let your mind talk you out of it. That is why whenever I tapped in, my mind was very quiet. And actually, I don't use my mind all that much. I actually just be tapping into the feeling state. possibly when I calculate something, that is how when I use my mind, or just, yes, I barely use my mind, because when you are in this state, you are ready to receive what life has in store for you. You know that everything is working out for you in the most beautiful, major, and blessed up ways. You are relaxed. You know that this is all going to come about. So you withdrew from your mind to your heart and to your whole body. You feel that is where the relaxation comes from. I intend this video has offered clarity, relief, and comfort. Yes, law of assumption works. It's always working, even when you deny it, even when you think it's completely BS, it's working. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back.